Awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Uh-huh. It's great to see everybody here.
Likewise.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we start then?
Sure.
Sure. Sveta, over to you.
Alexandra is, I can see that he's turning on.
Yeah, he's connecting.
He's coming. Yelena is coming. Maybe one more minute.
Okay.
Marina Sergeyeva is here. Hello, Marina.
I'm always here.
No, I haven't seen you on the video last time, but I'm glad to see. Okay. Olga is here. Chemirisova. Okay.
Oh.
All right, cool. Can I start?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me be it like this, please, because I'm really bad with demonstrating PowerPoint presentation, especially when I'm nervous. And let's go to the first slide. Okay. So, welcome everyone. We are glad to see you. Thank you for finding time to attend our conference. So, I'm a teacher. What's your superpower? Yes, I decided to write down the hashtag. It's like it can help you to find us online. So today is the 26th of April, and house rules. Okay, as usual, please mute the microphone. Comments and questions in the chat box, please. Each presentation will last from 10 to 15 minutes, maybe more. Each presentation is followed by question and answer sessions. And if you have questions, please write them again in the chat. And dear speakers, read the questions out loud because we are recording. And in the end of the conference, there will be a big question and answer session. And what else? We are recording, and we'll be sending or publishing our conference somewhere online. And Vita has also mentioned that she is going to ask you privately if you would agree to be published on YouTube or not. Okay, it's for the speakers. And Vita, thank you very much for your, yes, Vita.
Sorry. Basically, guys, we are going to upload it to YouTube because we've had some problems with Google, and unfortunately, I think the servers are overloaded and it cannot handle large files at the moment. And each recording is approximately 2.5 hours long, so it's about 2 to 3 gigabytes file. So basically, if you don't want to be on YouTube, PM me and I will cut you out. If you're okay with it, and if you don't PM me, I will think that you are okay with it by default, okay?
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sveta.
All right. Okay, so here is a beautiful mind map or a spidergram, yes. So topics, teenagers, very young learners, yes. Irina, Buyanova, and Rory, they're going to talk about how to teach teenagers online and some applications and tools, and Anka, Vita, and me were going to talk about some things regarding very young learners. Yes, of course, teacher-parent relationship. We're doing some investigation ourselves with our parents as well. And thank you, Katerina Polaganskaya, for coming and presenting your things. And I think it's crucial right now. Well-being, how to avoid burnout. Thank you very much, Valentina Viktorovna. It's Vita's friend, and she's Vita's friend, and she's going to present in Russian language. I hope it's not going to be a problem for all of us. And here is the agenda. So, session 1, craft for very young learners by Vita, Khitruk, literacy for very young learners by me, very young learner activities, cognitive skills angle. Anka, thank you very much for this. Parents' perspective, again, Ekaterina, thank you very much. Adapting supplementary materials for online, Irina Buyanova, she's got plenty of ideas. Super active, and she's going to present next seminar as well. I hope so. How to avoid burnout during self-isolation. Yes, we need it. The lazy teacher's guide to teaching teens online. Rory, thank you very much. I think I'm going to use all the things that you're going to talk about, and questions and answers in the end of this session. That's it. Thank you very much. And now, Vita. Oh, okay. All right. Now it's Vita's turn.
Okay, Anka, I'm going to give you the control over the conference, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, okay. And I'm going to show you my screen, of course. So let's go. Here we go. Here's the presentation. Dear computer, please work. Okay, very good. Okay, so my presentation is called Crafts Before and After. And yeah, the presentation is, okay, cool. So first of all, I'd like to ask you a question. Why do we like crafts? Can you type a couple of words in the chat box, and I'll give you a minute. Sort of. Why do we like it as teachers? Why do we need crafts? Somehow, chat, please. And somehow I can't open the chat. So Anka, can you please read a couple of suggestions that we have?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sure. No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Sensory work, mess, Killy wrote, provides variety, fun. Rory said because it takes ages. Fun, engaging, creativity, fun, imagination, social skills, keeping kids busy, building rapport. Yep.
Yeah, very good. So I basically have all these ideas in the presentations. Thank you so much. And here we go. So general development. We want our kids to develop fine motor skills, social skills, attention, focus, because it's kind of a longish longish project, and our kids are focused for 10 or 15 minutes. That's awesome, actually. Then there's language development. It's instructional because as a teacher you give instructions and they follow, hopefully. Transactional because, well, I don't give everybody a pair of scissors. I have like 2 pairs of scissors for 4 kids, and they have to share. They have to ask in English, obviously, can I have a pair of scissors, please? Can I have a pink crayon? Yes, basically, it's done on purpose. I want them to use transactional language. And then I want them to learn and use sophisticated vocabulary, like it's a bean shape. We want to draw a curved line here. It's going to be somebody's tummy, for example. It's sophisticated. It's beyond pre-A1 level. And then it gives you a change of routine because kids get bored with like hello circle, revision, repetition, then listening from the book. It's boring. So when you do a craft from time to time, it's refreshing. Then it gives them this extra motivation and engagement. They are more engaged when they can create something using their hands. And also it reflects their world, basically. It allows them to express themselves, to be creative. Even if their English is not that good, they can be good at crafts, and it basically gives everybody an opportunity to shine. And also problem-solving skills, like what if you don't have this crayon, what can you do? Or what if you don't like something that I suggest? What if you want do something else? What if you don't have a little post-it which you can use as a doggy's tongue? Well, what can you do instead? Well, it's good, basically. Well, and this is my usual routine when I'm in the real classroom. So before the lesson, you choose the craft, you prepare all the materials beforehand, you cut them out, you put them into little envelopes, so everything is ready for the kids to come. In the lesson, you do your usual routine: hello circle, revision, literacy, new language, music and movement as appropriate. Then you do the craft, production stage, reading time, goodbye. And during the craft, because you're physically there, you help, you support, you scaffold, you remind them of the scissors rules. If something goes bad, you interfere, you intervene. And after the lesson, well, you Instagram it if you're into it. Oh, but basically you recycle, reuse, and revise. Oh, well, it's kind of different now because, well, I'm not physically with them. And that's a huge difference, to be honest. So what do you do? Well, before the lesson, you choose the craft. Then you inform the parents or guardians about the materials your kids will need. That's very, very important. And you can't do it 5 minutes before the lesson. It's better to do it like at least 30 minutes before the lesson, because what if they're Dutch and they don't have crayons or markers? What if they're somewhere else? What if they ran out of glue? What like, at least give the parent this opportunity to text you back and say, you know what, we cannot do it. And then you'll be able either to do something else or modify, because modifications are possible as well. Then in the lesson, well, you need to demonstrate and to model, and you have two options here: your front camera and your second camera. And Zoom gives you this ability to work with two cameras at the same time, and we're going to see how it works. And then after the lesson, well, you give the parents the report of how everything went and what was accomplished. And you give yourself a hug because you are one step closer to what you had online and you don't have now. And you're desperately trying to catch up with it. And well, it is what it is. And I wanted to show you something like this is a craft which I did with my playways offline. It's a winter farm with lots of animals here with the 3D trees. It's beautiful. Like, I mean, I loved it. Well, unfortunately, such complex crafts are not really an option online because my kids needed a lot of help. And without parents, without a teacher, a 5-year-old will not be able to do everything. Because you need to fold, you require motor skills, highly developed motor skills, you require a colored printer because you need to print out the animals. So basically you need to choose something simple. And here we go again. So let's try. For this, let's try it with my front camera. So, for this craft, you will need a piece of paper. Here you go, so a white piece of paper. And you will need these. What are these? Well, these are markers. Normally kids would respond because they're not used it in the lesson. And then what you will need is crayons. Very good. And today we're doing something very, very exciting. We are going to draw this. It's a cat. Okay, to begin drawing a cat, I need this. What's this? A crayon, yes. So I'm going to crayon a round head. Yes, can you see my round head? Very good, don't make it too big. Here it is. Very good. Then you need to crayon a fat body because our cat is a domestic cat and he's or she is well fed and taken care of. Okay, so here it is. Can you see? It's a bean-shaped body. And then you need to add 2 eyes and 2 ears. Okay. what color are your cat's eyes? Mine are purple. Just because there's nothing wrong with purple eyes. And then you need a little triangle for a nose. Can you see my nose? Very good. Now everybody, show me your cats, please. I really want to see them. And at this point, everybody will show me what they have. And what I usually do with kids, I give them some time to finish. So during each stage, I do this. Okay, now we have 5 seconds to finish. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. And finish. Show me what you've got. So they show. Okay, now we need to crayon the mouth because, well, our cat is supposed to have a mouth. And here you go. And basically, with your front camera, it goes like that. And then you have a finished product. You show it to everybody. The kids show it back to you. You clap. You high five using your camera. And that's it. But there are lots of disadvantages because, well, number one, they cannot see what you are doing. You're like, here you go, here you go. You cannot see what they are doing. And it's not really engaging. It's kind of, you see my hat, I'm drawing something there, I'm showing you. It's so easy to lose your concentration, to lose your focus. It's not there. It's not on the screen. You cannot see what's actually going on. So Zoom actually gives you this option. When you share your screen, you can choose this detailed settings, расширенные настройки, whatever, and you choose materials from your second camera. And let's try this. Let's see how it works. Okay, here you can see my second camera, and you will be able to see me. Hello as well. Which is cool because basically you can see what I'm doing and you can see what my hands are doing at the same time. And I can see you, so that means that I can see what my kids are doing. So for this craft, you will need a piece of paper. You will need some crayons, some markers, and some crayons. Okay, have you got that? Can you show me? And at this stage, my kids will demonstrate it. And now we're gonna finish the cat. So I'm going to add some whiskers. And what color should I choose for my cat's whiskers? Anybody? How about blue? I wanna have a crazy cat. Yeah, can you see my blue crayon? Here it is. Very good. So I'm drawing my cat's whiskers, and I'm going to have 3 straight lines here and 3 straight lines here. Very good. Okay, now we're gonna wait for everybody to finish. 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4, 4. Very good. Show me what you've got. And everybody at this point will raise and show raise their pieces of paper and show what they have. Then we are going to make some stripes because it's a tabby cat, yes? Well, it's very important to elicit some language from them, like if it's a sporty or a stripy cat or a tabby cat. So you need to engage. And basically what I do when I work with kids online is I do it in a little bit over-exaggerated way because, well, the energy doesn't transcend the screen. So I need them motivated and engaged. So I'm like, yes, let's do it. I'm a little bit overexcited. And so you do the stripes. Okay, can everybody see my stripes? How many stripes have I got? The kids respond. Then we need to add a tail, yes? Well, yeah, very good. So I'm adding a tail here, and my tail is gonna have some stripes. Very good. And now I'm going to take a marker. How about pink marker, yes? Okay. And Lydia, what color is your cat? What color is your marker? So, and I'm going.
Beautiful, yeah.
Thank you. And I'm going to go over my cat and the crayons will show. So basically, and this is how I basically finish the cat, and then we can write about the cat. So her name is, well, it's a she's pink. Her name's gonna be, I don't know, Lucy. And then you list it, how old Lucy is, what she likes, what she doesn't like. And if you have a whiteboard, and I have a whiteboard here, you can use some whiteboard markers here to, for example, show what Lucy is saying hello. Or you can use a bigger piece of paper for that. You can show that Lucy likes fish. And yeah, well, it's possible. It's possible to work with kids this way. Because here we go, screen. So because this, I work with, I gave some workshops for kids I don't even know, the complete strangers. And these are the cats that they made. And then we had another workshop where we created an origami dog, and everybody had a dog at the end of the lesson. Of course, some children required the help of their parents, and a lot of help, especially if they were 3 or 4 years old. That's because you are not there as a teacher. You help kids like that in the classroom. Well, you can't reach through the computer and help them physically. So if you know that it will be a problem, talk to the parents beforehand and ask them to give you that support. And the takeaway, what I wanted basically to show you is that you need baby steps. It's not going to be perfect. I've done, so far, I've done 5 crafts, 2 with this online group of children I don't really know, and 1 craft with my Playway group, and a couple of crafts with my super minds. And it wasn't easy, but we managed. Then allow yourself plenty of time. So for example, if in a lesson you need 10 minutes for a craft, well, allocate 15 to 20 minutes online. Then you need parental help and support, because A, they need to find all the materials before the lesson. B, very often they will have to help if something goes wrong, and some things will go wrong. Lots of praise and encouragement, lots of waiting time, lots of scaffolding in terms of that you let the children know what's going on, like when you will finish, when this particular stage will be finished, so they have time, enough time to finish. Then praise everybody, give everybody some time to talk about their craft, their cat, or their medal, for example. And well, it's worth it basically, because it's one more thing that you can now do online, and it means that your lessons, your online lessons, are less repetitive, and that your students are more engaged. So try it. That was it. That's it basically. Okay, I can see that.
Yes, there are questions. Please have a look at the chat.
Okay, I am just a second. Trying to find all of them.
If you want,
want,
I can read them.
This is what they do. Okay. Could you demonstrate the 2 cameras, please? I think I've covered this question. Demonstrated.
Sorry, could you please show how it works? Because I have 1 camera on my laptop. Is it the very same one, or as one of our colleagues said, we have to use our mobile as well?
Lydia, here you go. It's a tripod and a camera taped to it. It's not a phone. It's a second webcam. In my case.
You have a separate one.
I have.
And if we don't, when Zoom says like расширенные настройки, as you said,
yes.
What does it actually imply? If you have just a laptop per se.
Well, there are other options, like you can show part of your screen. I mean, if you only have one camera, then you cannot use it as a second camera.
I see. Okay. And if it is my mobile, for example, I'm using Zoom on the mobile and on the laptop. How does it work? Do I fix the mobile somewhere for us to zoom into the actual care or whatever craft we're doing?
Basically, technically, your camera has to float above your craft, like that. So, I mean,
if I may chip in, Vita, I saw it on board teachers, and I don't remember what it was, but someone tried it, and they put the camera, I don't remember what it was, but it was some kind of a structure on which the telephone was lying, or well, upside down was lying.
Right.
And basically the teacher was operating whatever. I think it would have to be like a dish dryer, like I'm just looking at my dish drying rack or something like this. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. And I was trying to find this post later on, but I couldn't.
Like a box with a hole will also work. For example, a big cardboard box. You cut a hole for your mobile phone camera, and you work inside the box. So I mean, you need to be creative with it. I have a tripod, but I had it before, so I mean, I didn't have to improvise here. But like, I thought about using my mop, for instance, as an extendable hand.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Rory. I mean that they say the very same camera is front and back. Okay, that's two cameras actually. And I mean, be careful with your iPhone, because I've thought about using an iPhone or for instance a real camera for this, but the problem is with the battery. The Zoom drains your battery really fast, and you need to be sure that it's either plugged in, or that it's full and it will not run out in the middle of your activity. And we don't need any extra devices. Well, unfortunately, you do. So, but smartphone. I think it will work with a smartphone. I haven't used it, to be honest. How do you fix your phone? I think we've covered that. Katya is asking, are you using a second external camera? Yes, it's a second webcam, but I had it before. I didn't have to buy it. But again, as we've already discussed, other options are possible.
Like, look, I'm just looking at my microphone. Or a lamp or something. Like, there are things around me, actually.
Well, you can see that, like, for instance, it's a very simple tripod that I have, and it wasn't designed for that. So I used masking tape to tape the camera to it. This is not an extendable hand. It's a control, like you move this platform using this handle. Well, now it's an extendable hand. So Christina is sharing your experience is making decorated eggs for Easter. Not my... Yes. It's like, for instance, when I informed my parents about the lesson and that we were going to do crafts, like, for instance, 3 kids had everything ready. 1 kid didn't have anything ready. But we still managed, because he ran to his room, he grabbed some crayons, some markers, and we had a wonderful lesson. But yeah, it happens. You need to be ready for that. Okay. The pictures. There's a special device to hold the phone. Yes. Okay, I guess this is it then. Thank you so much. I mean, it's really nothing. It's a gimmick, basically. There's no methodology behind it.
Thank you, Vita, very much. Very useful, I think. I have problems, as you already know, with web camera delivery. And I think I'm going to use my phone as well. And yes, I think it is possible to use some lights in my house, yes, as a holder. Okay, good, thank you. Now it's my turn, and I'm going to talk about not developing, but like starting literacy with very young learners. We had some debates with Anka and Vita before we started the conference. This is my presentation. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So here is my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. So teaching literacy to very young learners, I wouldn't say that I can't dare like to call it teaching. I'd say introducing literacy. Yeah. So let them be aware of what letters are. Okay. And so I start with basic. My students at the moment, they are from 4 to 5 years old. I don't have 6-year-old kids, I think, in my playway groups. I have 1-to-1 as well. Before that, before you start doing literacy with them, I would recommend talking to the parents, because some parents, like for example, in my experience, when I started without any permission, in the end of the lesson, I was kind of told off, saying, my student mom said that he wasn't ready for that. So I would rather talk to the parents before doing that, because they have different view on that. Again, I make it a part of my lesson together with the Hello Circle. And it's like 5-10 minutes in the beginning of the lesson or in the end of the lesson. Because I think cognitively it's a tedious thing for them still, so it can't take like half an hour, just 5-10 minutes. It's from my own experience. Again, yes, I said like 5-10 minutes. And if we start the alphabet from the beginning, so it's like maybe 3-4 letters at a time. Again, depends on the students, how ready they are. When your students have already acquired some letters, let them manipulate those letters. So basically start making, or at least attempt to reading some short words with vowel sound, okay? And integrate it into your lesson. So if the topic is farm, then integrate those letters with your farm lesson. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate what I do and what I did with my playways. So normally we start with the song. This is the song that I like. Thank you, Anka, for this song. I hope it will. Can you hear that? Yes.
Yeah.
So,
A is for apple, apple. B is for bull.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna start. I love this song, so I can listen on my own without my kids sometimes, just to relax and calm down after the lesson. I like the melody and it's easy to sing. So A is for apple, apple. So basically what we introduce is what sound each letter gives. Okay, B is for bull, bull. And we do it together with kids and we sing it. For the first time, I do the whole song with them. And each lesson we start with this song, but we listen to those 3 letters that we need for the lesson, 3-4 letters, yes. And with the time in the end I will show all the links to YouTube, super simple phonic songs that can be used in the lesson, yes, like to change the routine for a bit. Now, here is after the song, we have like these first 3 letters, A, B, C, and we revise. A is for, and I wait for my kids, like apple, B is for ball, ball, and I have the pictures behind them. Yeah, so A is for apple, apple. Yes, Anka and Vita, I I took into consideration your recommendations. So we've got uppercase and lowercase letters. Yes, I agree, because in real lesson, seriously, I didn't think about it when I was making for the online lesson. We introduce both, yes, because they encounter those letters in books. But that's another story, sorry. So B is for butterfly, butterfly. My kids knows, and I was surprised. It was the first time, and they were like, ball, and they were saying some other words starting with this letter, so they got the principle behind it. And C is for cat, cat. And talking about manipulating the language, yes, and here I let them manipulate these letters. So why not making a crazy word that does not exist in English language, but still, for example, we have b. A is for apple. E. T is for cat. K, cat. And tada, we've got a word, and kids can do like b, e, k. Or vice versa. Yeah, for example, s, e, cab we have. Okay. And each lesson I introduce new letters. For example, here they were D, E, F, G, D, E, F, G. Yes, and the picture behind each letter of the alphabet. Okay, here are some more letters, and here are the uppercase and lowercase letters. Thank you, Oxford. I found it on their website. Yes, and I started using some animation here. O, octopus, P, pen, K, queen, R, robot. Yes, and so on. And here, again, so we have already quite some letters, and it's time for us to try to read some short words. For example, P, E, N. Yes, like, of course, we do it in turns in the class. Okay, and here is the picture behind. P is P, E, N. Okay, maybe a couple of words in a lesson. So I keep this slide for each presentation, for each lesson. I just change the words, or we work, or we revise them. B, E, G. And here is the picture behind the bag. Okay, and then after a while, when we have repeated those words and the letters, later we move on to removing the letters from the words. For example, they don't see in my real presentation, they don't see this C letter. Yeah, so they see only at and N. They have the picture to rely on. And then I try to listen. Okay, what's this? They know the word, they say cat. K, E, T. And what letter? C. K, E, T. Yes, the same here. C is for can. K, can. And we add the letter to the word. Okay. The same with pen. The same principle. And integrating the alphabet and the letters into the lesson. So, for example, this is a beautiful matching game for the kids to revise the vocabulary from the lesson and to revise, of course, the alphabet and the letters. So here you are. So the topic was on a farm. So cows give milk, bees make honey, hens lay eggs, and so on. So, and like a normal matching game, and they were choosing the letter, for example, A, and not just A, just Margot. A is for apple, apple. All right, and I have Margot, beautiful student. All right, and F is for fish, fish. and then remove F. Ah, cows give milk, cows give milk. So like together, yes, we have the language of the lesson, and we still revise some literacy things that were taught, that been taught before in the lesson. Okay. Yes. Yeah. And here is the list of phonics songs that can be used in your lessons. My favorite one was at the beginning that I demonstrated, and super simple. They also have videos for each letter. For example, A is for apple, apple, and they drill it for some time in those videos. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Okay, questions.
Yes, there are questions. Please have a look.
Just a second. Let me stop my. Okay, Helena, the animation. I mean, words blending into pictures. Hold on. Can we have a link to this song? I mean, yes, of course, Lydia. I will say. The links are in the presentation. I will post all the links here also in the chat later.
If you could, yes, thank you.
Yes, no problem. Elena has already sent something. Okay, can we please have a link to the cards with words and pictures? You can also use phonics cards from Superman. Yes, Irina, of course I will post it. I will send the. I will post it. I have it on my Google Documents. I've downloaded from the Oxford website. We also have them on the Moodle for the BKC teachers. On Moodle, yes, I will do that. The phonics card on the Moodle, yes. These are different phonics cards. They are very nice, but I'll post them if you want to use them. Thanks. Can we have the links from the presentation, please? Yes, sure. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions or comments? I know that, for example, Oля Chimirisova, that you were interested and you started like several years ago when we were doing camp together. You were interested in the topic of teaching phonics. I'm sure that you have lots of bright ideas as well to share with us maybe next time. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so Anka.
Thank you.
Yes, okay. Just 1 second, I'll share my screen. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, right. I decided to, to share with you some of the ideas that we were using in the classroom, in the normal classroom, in the classroom before the end of the world. And luckily those activities transferred very well to our online world, and I started using them as well. Miro has been of an incredible help here with all the little bits and pieces. And this is not a new idea, and I hope something of it maybe will be new, but yeah, nothing revolutionary this time. It basically made me think of where we look for inspiration for our activities for very young learners. And of course, the basic thing that I think most of the teachers have, either to use or to hate and not to use, are of course our course books. This is the starting point to everything. Even if you at one point decide not to use a course book and put together a course without any real published paper. This is the first thing. Then, of course, there are the kids' interests and everything that they bring to class. All those lions that start drilling the vocabulary with you, or parrots that ask for a separate homework, and they get it and they do it. So this is double homework, and all of the activities, Frozen and whatever else. Of course, we take this into consideration and we shape the lesson around it. Sometimes it is the internet and many good people out there who share their ideas. And how lucky are we, that we have this opportunity. Imagine teaching 10 years ago, or I think, 10 years ago, or even a few years ago, when I was starting, it's like, well, you're on your own, which is not too bad either. But now we have a lot more to choose from. And then, of course, there is CLIL, which is everywhere in all the course books. Every real author thinks it's a badge of honor to include CLIL and advertise the book like that. But there is actually a lot that we can use, and that a lot that can be a base for a great lesson. And then, of course, sometimes as well, last but not least, the rubbish that we find lying around. And by rubbish, I mean just random things that we can use in craft activities, or just a book that we like that doesn't really match the course content, but oh my God, I want to use it. I'm sure this has happened to you as well. In this presentation, however, I would like to look at one more. This is not this. At one more, at cognitive skills and how children develop them, because this is another way of looking at activities. And of course, for us, there will be the language that we want out of it. But because children are still developing their cognitive skills as pre-primary or primary students, well, all of them really, this is an interesting angle, I thought. If you're interested in cognitive skills development, there is of course a lot to read, but I would like to recommend this series of videos on YouTube that have got nothing to do with learning English really, but there are different scientists who try to explain the same concept to 5 different people on 5 different levels. So I guess it would be an interesting idea to start from the beginning or from the end, because the first level is a 5-year-old. And yesterday, what I was watching was some neurological concepts, and I know what it is, but I don't remember the name of. But the same scientist would try to explain this idea to a 5-year-old child, to a 13-year-old child, a child, student, teenager, and then to a university student, a PhD graduate, and then someone on the top. And it's fascinating to see how the same concept is adapted to the thinking abilities of 5 different age groups, shall we say, or 5 different backgrounds. And I think this is, well, if you want to think about it a little bit more, then this is a good starting point, because cognitive skills is basically everything that is related to thinking, to focus, to logic, to memory as well. And it's not that the authors of the course books don't know about it, because they are using these ideas, but these are just some of the things that I've been using that have proved to be excitingly generative when it comes to language with very young learners. One of the basic things, of course, is differentiating and categorizing things. Even the youngest kids who are 3, they will be able to tell you whether something is big and small. This is a concept that is super easy to understand, and this is a good starting point. Another ideas are here when you're doing the animals. Of course, some animals can fly, some of them can run, some of them can sing, some of them can't. Categorizing into the things that we like and we don't like, which adds also to the personalization, or like different. It's hot and cold. This is how we divide the food right now, because we are in the food unit. So some foods are hot, some of them are cold, but it can be also used for clothes, for example. So this is the basic thing. I like to introduce categories, for example, every time we get to the topic of food, because again, it's a nice, even again, if children are 3-year-olds and you demonstrate, apple, can I eat it? Yes, I can eat it. It's what? It's a pencil, can I eat it? Even the 3-year-olds start to giggle because, of course, teacher, you cannot eat a pencil. So it means this is a different category. So starting with food is a nice idea here. But of course, that's just the beginning. Another one of the things that I did basically on Friday with this little boy who just started with me, was categorizing by the color. He doesn't really know the names of all the objects here. And of course, I'm getting away here with the fact that dinosaur is almost the same in Russian, and robot is also here for that reason. He knows a little bit of colors. And when we started to categorize those objects by the color, of course, I was just asking him, is this green? No, it's not. Is this green? No, it's not. So he was saying yes and no in the beginning, and for most part of the activity. But you know what? By the time we got to yellow, he started to produce chunks as well. And of course, this activity, it's a simple thing. This is exactly what they do. And cognitive skills here is one of those approaches that, well, children will do it anyway with their parents in kindergarten. This is what many of the little booklets wow, I actually bought it. Wait. Okay. Wiesołe zadania. Logika. 29 kartoczek. Nothing to do with English, but a lot of inspiration for cool activities. 190 rubles, very well invested in the local kiosk. So in those activities, kids do those things anyway, and we can well, steal them into and adapt them to learning English and to practice English. Another idea that kind of is the development of that is this. If you are teaching primary, you will know straight away that, you know, you don't eat a book, you read it. And of course, when it comes to producing the language production and the level, of course, we are not going to be expecting the movers kind of production. Well, this is different because beautiful, etc., etc. But even pre-primary school students, they can say it's blue, it's blue, it's blue, it's red, or it's blue, it's kind of, it's blue, it's orange, and it's blue. So this one is different. And you know, this is not going to be a whole lesson that will have 25 rows of those activities, and this probably took like 30 seconds to prepare together with Miro, and you can easily adapt it to whatever your students can say. But for example, this is the task that I did with my Superminds 2 students on Tuesday, and I cannot tell you how much language they generated, because they had 1 million ideas, even though they are way below the movers level, but the ideas were just coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. So this is hopefully something that can be easily done, and not because well, this was something super exciting, but that they could come and they wanted to be creative, and then we did it in English. Another idea that I stole and I've been using successfully, this one, oh, that monkey stole my picture. Okay, lovely. Thank you, Miro. There was another activity that I stole from oh no, it is here and I'm blind. From flyers even, so even much higher level, looking for differences. Again, when it comes to the language level and the level of complexity of, for example, the original flyers material, some of the pictures are too complex and children are overwhelmed because there are too many details and they don't have all the vocabulary, they don't know all the wave and all the hold, etc., etc. But nonetheless, this is a great activity and they love looking for differences. Some of the materials that were created for language learning, some of them, you know, you have this kind of an activity even for FCE practice, but then they are very, very detailed. And for some time I was just being bothered with it because I cannot draw myself. And somehow I wanted two pictures that were almost identical until I figured out that actually I don't care. They don't need to be specifically identical. I have a farm and I have a farm, and this is just what Google helped with. And this is an activity that I did on Thursday, with my level 1 again. We are doing farm now. And you know what? 10 minutes of proper talking. Oh, I can see an orange cat. I can see a gray cat. I can see a big house. I can see a small house. And because we were just practicing farm animals, she could produce a lot of language. So this is definitely something that can be easily included here. What else have I got? When it comes to categorizing and sequencing, of course, there are those activities that we often use and we like them because it's nice drilling. But that's not everything. It helps kids put things in order, and the order here of the activities, robot, teddy, robot, teddy, robot, teddy, robot, teddy, is quite maybe almost even boring, but of course you can rearrange them and it can be a more complex pattern, and they should be looking at patterns, they should be creating them. And the next step, of course, can be inviting children to create those patterns. And again, copying and pasting here is an easy thing to do, so you can do it as they speak. Another activity that follows sequencing is this kind of an activity. I'll be going up. So basically, this is again level 1. Something you can see in the pictures. There are always 4. Something we eat, something we drink, something yummy, and something good. Okay, let's move up. What's here? There are only 3. Something we eat, okay, something yummy, and something good. What's missing? Something, of course, something we drink, so we put back milk, and so on and so on. There is always one missing, but it helps us go through the language. And I think this is actually, I went a little bit too far, and I challenged them too much, because in every picture that we were using in the lesson on Friday, there were different things, something that we eat, something that we drink, but there were different drinks, and in the end they could choose whichever one they wanted from the yummy category or good category or drink or of food. Maybe for some of them it was a little bit one step too many for the first time. So I would still start with the same thing, recreating the pattern, and only moving a little bit further in the second lesson, which I'm going to try tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. But again, they producing the language and develop. The cognitive skills are developing on their own almost. What matters for me, of course, is the language production. And we have one more activity here, which is based on shape. To be honest with you, I don't know why shapes are such one of those topics that authors don't quite like, because in many books, shapes are kind of swept under the carpet, although this is the beginning of developing, thinking about mathematics, and shapes are all around us. So in our BKC program, we use it anyway as an additional topic. But I think they should be in every course book, just as insects. Insects are absolutely fascinating, and yet nobody wanted to include them in any of the regular course books. So of course it starts with colors, with naming. Then it can go towards building other shapes, the vocabulary that the kids are familiar with from these shapes. And it's like tangram, but I always add a circle, because circle makes such a difference. And then, of course, you can count those, you can revise colors. But for me, the best thing about it is that once they figure out that shapes are there, you can start looking for shapes around you. So basically, any illustration in any course book or anything, again, from Google can be perfect for looking for shapes. And it makes them think in a little bit more abstract concepts and look for example, this is a perfect picture. Look how many circles there are, big and small. And you can count them. It's a lesson that can be a lot of fun. So I would definitely recommend shapes. And last but not least, I Spy with My Little Eye. Again, normally we use this game, or originally this is the game that helps us develop phonemic awareness and look for words that start with the same sound, and it's great for early literacy as well. But we have to be realistic, and our students, second language learners, there will be quite a few things around them, just in a room or in the classroom, that they will not be able to name, because it might be too early. So for that reason, whenever we start with I Spy, I'm using this game basically for making riddles about, for example, the picture, like this one here. And in the classroom, to be honest with you, I often bring posters that they don't even know all the objects in. So there is this wonderful young learners exams poster with this crazy island, and then there are random things on it, but it's perfect for this game. And you can start with easy sentences. I spy with my little eye something that is big, and they look for big things. Then, of course, because colors come very early into the game, you can add another element for them to analyze. I spy with my little eye something that is big and pink. So this is already a fun, and they have to guess exactly what you're thinking about, or which one you had in mind, or you have to guess which object they had in mind as well. And then you can pile up the information for them to listen to and to analyze. So I spy with my little eye something big and pink, and it's in the water, and I like it or I don't like it, and it's next to a bush or whatever, depending on how much language they have. Here, probably, since we are online, it would be good to use the illustrations which depict objects or, I don't know, animals or clothes, etc., that kids are familiar with, so that they could just tell you. Or perhaps just add numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have to listen for the specific one, but still putting together the information that you give them to figure out which particular one you have in mind. And I think that's it. Just to finish, lots of opportunities. These are just a few ideas, and of course there is nothing very revolutionary here, but all of them helped us have fun, and I started with this one, but also to produce a lot of language, a lot of language, with all of it pre-primary students, and then even a lot more with primary, of course. Thank you very much. If there are questions, then I'm going to.
Thank you, Anka. Yes.
Okay. Right. I'm just scrolling. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Either the link or the name of the cognitive skill explanation, please. Okay. Beautiful mirror board. Mathematica. Yes, I buy all those things. I cannot resist. I go to some. There are 2 people in Sal Ожидания. I sometimes in bookshop, but sometimes even in stupid Piaterochka or the local kiosk, and there are those like, oh, rozwiewaj что-то там. It's like, okay, let's see what they want to rozwiewać. And so many of them can be turned into great activities. And kids are familiar with the. Yes, thank you, Vita. Kids are familiar with the context and with the idea because they do those things. And yes, but just imagine game with my adults. Okay, cool. What do you search for those nice pictures to play I Spy with? It's basically usually a very stupidly formulated task, like kids playing in the park, or in the park with kids, colorful, or something, basically. I'm just waiting for Google to offer something exciting. I'd like to be thank you. Okay. Cool. I'm going to do a little promotion here. Well, why not? Why? They might not invite me next time. I'm going to put all those ideas. They are already. I have a blog, so there will be a post tonight. Yes. So if you want to, and then there will be funky socks and dragons. This is me. So please, if you want to. Okay. Thank you very much.
I've already shared you on my Instagram, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
I promoted you as well. Yeah, just one question. The one you mentioned with the kids and then teenagers and adults. Do you vaguely remember this topic? Because it's interesting just to look into it. The very same topic at the beginning of your presentation, when the very same concept is explained to kids.
Yes, you can. Wait, 5 levels. I'll Google it, Lydia, right now.
5 levels.
I'll find.
If you could, yes.
I'll find one example, and then you can basically. There are different concepts. Yesterday, I listened to something about the brain and the connection between neurons, and I wish I could remember the fancy name to like shine in a conversation. But yeah, I'll find one of those.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Anka. And let's move on. No more questions, yes, as far as I understand. Now, Ekaterina, please, parents' perspective. I'm looking forward to.
Hi, so if it's my turn, then I'm ready to join in. Thank you, Svetlana. Can everybody hear me well? Is everything fine? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentations, Svetlana, Vita, Anka. Really enjoyed. So my topic is quite difficult, and it's quite vulnerable for everybody. But I'll be talking from the perspective of a language club owner and a teacher. I know that some of you work for companies, for language schools, for big companies, and you have like back office administration, and you have client relationship managers who solve some issues related to parents. In my situation, I'm on my own, so I have to be the front office, the back office, and I have to be everything to my clients and the parents of the children that I teach. So you know that recently we have all come across some issues, and we know that things have changed on the market, on the educational market, and so some people were kind of slacking this market, the others, they were trying to save it and to hold it and to fix things as they were before. So I've got some slides to share, so I will move on. I know that I do not have much time, so here we go. The issues that I've came across that, so before the crisis, everything was fine, but so we now have a 6-week experience doing this, and we can see it as a catalyst to some good changes. So in my experience, I found some really good points, and I fixed some relationship with parents, and this is the focus of my talk, of my presentation. So as we all know that the buzzwords, the two buzzwords on the market, not only in education but in business, is building resilience and sustainability. So, and these are the two important points that can keep us afloat, that can help us be flexible, and they can help us bring and build this flexibility and regain a workforce after having finished all these periods of unstable, like schools being unstable. So in this situation, networking with parents is essential. I think it's the most important power that we obtain. So we can use it to our advantage, but we should have a strategy how to do it. So in business, in marketing, in sales, there's a very good thing which is called a win-win strategy. So, and if you text in a chat box, so whether what I'm talking about is important, interesting, or maybe you don't care, so it would be important for me to shift the topic, or maybe to somehow be flexible about my talk. So the win-win strategy is the thing when you resolve a conflict with benefits to both parties. And so this situation, this crisis in our education, it should be solved. And try to look through the chat as well. So it should be solved with benefits to children, teachers, and also the parents. So here is how we can, sorry. Right. So that here is how we can come across some concerns. And of course, I didn't come with my talk to the parents before I've talked to my friends. So as a former marketologist, I've had a survey, and I asked my friends to help me out with this. So I had a survey with them. They are also parents. I asked them a single question. So what concerns, objections do you have against teaching online, or your kids having online classes? So and they all said, because I'm not a fan of this idea that online lessons should cost less, that we should reduce cost, that we should do something to attract and to market our product. And nothing really has changed. We're the same teachers, and we do the same business, and we teach the same material, and we have the same kids. So basically nothing has changed. But all of my friends who know me well, who know what I do, they told me that, okay, so lessons should cost less because they are less effective. So do not be surprised, that is not my point, that is what I talked about to people. And that is what I based my arguments on. And that is what I have to bring and to talk about with the parents, with the clients of my school, of my club. So less effective because the teacher spends more time, homework is more time consuming because the teacher doesn't have enough time to explain the material. So that's it. And that's what I have to work on then, to explain things to the parents, to the sorry, the slides won't scroll. Right, so I had some questions to consider, and firstly, they were possible parents' objections. So I had to outrun these objections and to be the first to speak out about possible problems and possible concerns. So I decided to take this way and to think about the benefits, the possible benefits that the online teaching can bring to our classes, to our groups. So how could the students benefit from going online? Before that, I was not a big fan of internet teaching. So I teach groups, I teach offline groups. I'm a completely like physical teacher. I like props. I like tactile experiences. So that's me. So as most of the teachers listening to me right now. So, but I really decided to be proactive here, not reactive, because I have already come across some other experiences for other teachers who have just came across this situation and they didn't know what to do. So being proactive here, it was important because I had to foresee some objections and I had to come with the solution first and to speak out first. So what I did is, sorry about the slides, but they won't move. Just a second. Oh no. Oh no. Right. Okay, so plan number one was to reconsider the learner's needs and to change the format, to change, of course, the format of the work, but to think that in this situation, the learner's needs, they might be different. And in this situation, the students, the small children, the young learners, and I teach children who are 6 to 10 mostly, and I'm talking about this category, age category mostly, so they are so vulnerable, they are so sensitive, and they are stressed out by the amount of work that they have to do online these days because they have distance learning at school, they have all their clubs, gymnastics, even swimming online because they have hockey online because they have to do all these exercises in front of their computer and they have to follow their teachers. And they're overloaded with this stress and the atmosphere and the pressure. And the parents, they are always present at our lessons. Even I do not see them in the cameras, I know that there's someone here observing, not me, but they are observing their children. And in this situation, children do not have a chance to make mistakes. They are so stressed out by this context that they have to do their best, and they really do their best. They work even better now. They are online, and the behavior has improved. So all these things have changed, and but the kids are really stressed out. So I started thinking about how to improve this situation. How can I support them? With my praise on the one hand, with materials, how to scaffold them, because students are different. Some students are active, some students are really shy, and in this situation when they do not have non-verbal means of communication, so there is nothing to help them to speak. So what I did in the groups, and that was my offer to the parents, because in my situation I didn't reduce the price of the lessons, and I didn't reduce the time of the lessons, and I decided to go to use another way around. So I rearranged the groups. And in my context, it was really, really great because as of that moment, I didn't have mixability groups because I put stronger kids together, weaker kids together for me to work with them like following a different plan. So to spend more time on teaching weaker kids, but the stronger kids in a group, they had more autonomy and they had an opportunity to shine better. So having no mixability groups, it helped me like to follow my plan. And it really helped the parents to see the benefits of online teaching. So I split the groups, and the groups are now smaller. So I do not have groups more than 4 students. but it takes my extra hours. But for the parents, nothing had changed except the idea that they benefit from online lessons because they have like less kids in the group. They have more attention, personal attention to their children. I also provide some extra materials to the children because after the lessons, and I work with slides, as many of you do, I work with slides and I send those slides to the parents or to the students for them to revise. So they get this extra practice after the class, and it is a good vocabulary revision and material revision. And I also try constantly to report on the students' progress because praise, not comments, but praise is very important because the parents, they are looking for it and they are expecting their children to shine. And this is the moment, the proper moment for me to show that their kids are special, that they can do their best. So positivity, I think it is the key in giving feedback. Just again, the slide they want, turn. And I think it is important to mention that in terms of giving feedback and in terms of testing and error correcting online, it is very important not to correct directly during the lesson. It's very important not to give error correction feedback to parents' personal messages because they send me on WhatsApp, of course, they send me home photographs of homework, some writings, some tests, but if I send them a direct report backwards with errors underlined and with some marking, it gives like a negative backwash effect, so-called. So I try to give this feedback individually to the students. So how can this be carried out? I added extra time, which is my time which is not paid. They pay for their classes twice a week, but every week, each group, each student has an individual tutorial. So I just set a time slot, an hour for a group, when everybody has 10 or 15 minutes when we can speak directly. We can have feedback, conversation, answer parents' questions. I can report on some progress, and I can also work on error correction with the students privately without group being involved and without parents being involved. Because students, they always need positive feedback and they need positive assessment. I think this thing that I've just added, this extra tutorial hour, it worked really well. And so the students are happy, they have more speaking practice, the parents are happy because they have these free, like 15-minute slots when they can just ask questions, answer questions. So it worked really well. How I network with parents. I really try to cut down on the time spent chatting on WhatsApp with parents. I really do not like this channel of communication because I think that it has been 7 years since I started my website for homework, for posting information, for uploading slides, links, whatever. So I will now show you how it looks like. So this is a platform which is really old. There is nothing revolutionary about it. It is called blogger.com. And you can create just in 5 minutes a website with all the pages that you need, like your name, blogspot.com. And on the left, it's how the students see the pages. So they choose their group, they choose their time slot, they go through and they look for the information that I post after each lesson. That is my routine. It helps me with planning. It helps me with revising the material, because when I scroll through the previous posts, I can see what has been done, what needs to be revised. It's very useful and it really saves my time. And on the right, you can see the interface that I use. It can be used from the, it can be used, if you want, I can just share this, a different screen. Just give me a second. Okay, sorry for So this is how it looks like. It's really simple. So I put all my groups and all the information on these websites, and the students, they have access. But I also put a QR code on students' books in the beginning of the year, and it looks like this. Just let me see. Oops, sorry. Can everybody see now the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So on the right, there's a QR code, which is the link to the web page with homework. And every children in his book, he has this sticker glued, so he can just put his telephone next to the QR code and have immediate access to his homework. So there are no excuses for not doing homework, like I haven't put that down, I don't know when to look it up. And parents, they always have access to all these things. So I think it's really useful, and it works. It helps me save my time, planning time, and also it helps children have access directly to the links, to YouTube links, to files, to slides, to whatever they need for their homework. So of course, some parents are busy, some parents are less busy. So I try not to overload those those parents who have their own work to do, who work from home. And so we have compulsory homework and obligatory homework. So I try to differentiate the amount of independent work that students do at home. But what is important here, when we try not to overload busy parents, is building students' autonomy, developing their autonomy. But working on distance, it's really not easy. So during the classes, we try to look through homework in advance, and they ask questions so that they can do that further independently. I think it's very important not to involve parents much in this process of doing homework, because as a parent of 3 kids, I understand how tough it is to find time, even an hour, to help them. So autonomy development is essential, but some parents, they volunteered to help me, and I appreciate that a lot. So they really gave me a hand with copy pasting some pictures from the book, from PDF files, or they helped me with writing instructions, how to log into a website for other parents, because I really told them I do not have time enough to do everything at a time. And some parents, they volunteered and they helped me. So I think it's really great. I had an experience that I want to share, because at the beginning of all this, of shifting online, I had a group of preschoolers, and I was really scared to plunge into online teaching with them, because I didn't have methodology. I've never worked online, never. So, and with this group, I decided to offer them free classes. And so we went free, because I was experimenting, I was trying methodology, I was just trying different websites, materials, games, until it started working. And when it started working, so it was really strange that the parents having free classes online for their kids, they started commenting. And the comments, they were not really nice. But at the same time, I sent my lessons, the recordings of the lessons, to teachers that I know who are experts. And they gave me positive feedback that said, Katya, your lessons are good. There is nothing to worry about. But on the other hand, parents having free classes, they commented that they had some issues. They expect me doing different things. So I really decided to stop that. I really was expecting something different. So I told them, okay, either we stop all right now, or we go on with paid classes, but we go on as it is. So we go on experimenting, helping each other, giving feedback each other. And it was strange to me, but they decided to move on. So they paid for that class, they paid for the course, and we're moving on now, but the attitude has changed. So I know that many colleagues have the same experience. So when you do something like a pro bono work, no one is going to say thank you to you. But when you sell something, when you explain that it is kind of the business, and you have this relationship like a client and a service provider, then it works well. So that particular group, so they started giving feedback, positive feedback. They started really helping. And that was the particular group of parents who helped me out with this copy pasting PDF files and all this stuff that I didn't really have time to. So I think that experience was great. So in terms of how I built this win-win strategy with the groups, I think that the most important thing was this proactive approach. So you have to run out. So you have to be the first to speak out about the possible problems, so that the parents they do not even speak about that after. And I think that the approach of having these tutorials, I know it is not, it is a permanent thing, so it will finish one day, but it helped us to have more understanding and to improve our relationship as provide teacher, parent, teacher, client. So motivation is essential, and praising is really great. So these are the things that worked well, and that was what I wanted to share with you. Okay, so I think that's it, and I'd look through the chat. Going up with the questions. Can you help me with the questions, because
yes,
I do not
sure.
know.
Let's start with the last one. Yes, from Anka. How long are your very young learners lesson?
So I haven't changed the time, the length. The young learners, they have 60 minutes lessons, 1 hour.
Okay. Then the question was, I'm trying to scroll down. Okay, Kate, did you have parents who decided to make a pause until the situation gets better? What did you do in that case? And Christina said that she had some such cases, as she is also self-employed teacher, and she hasn't found a solution to it, just to respect the decision, even though I might be not on the best, it might be not the best decision. So what did you do in this case?
Okay, so the first question, so have I said goodbye to anybody? Not, because I addressed a letter to every parent personally, and I have around 30 students right now. It's not a big school, it's my private English club, and I'm the only person teaching here. So I addressed everyone personally with these anticipated questions. So I was the first to speak about, and in return, I received positive feedback. So no one decided to quit. So the question, if a student decides to make a pause and return when the situation gets better, I think that we have to respect this point, because the circumstances are different, the children are different. I am lucky this year to have just a few students with attention disorder, with some cognitive problems, because I know that practically everybody of us teachers such kids, and going online is really difficult with these kids. So we have to respect all the points of view here. I think it's okay to go on a pause and then return. Maybe so in my case, what I would do, I would put some online materials for the kids to follow the group on distance. Let it be asynchronous, but they can follow the homework, the tasks. So I upload the slides from the lessons every time.
Thank you. The next question was about QR codes. How do you make QR codes for
online? It's easy. So there are so many applications and programs. You just put it on Google, create a QR code, and you can do it for a picture, for a link, for a phrase, for a text. It's easy. Then we print them out and we stick with the glue sticks to the covers of their books.
All right, thank you. I think that's it, Kate. We don't have
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but lots of thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Interesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Irina Buyanova, are you with us? Irina?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, and Tadada, it's your turn. Like, yes, we're looking forward to your supplementary activities, adopted online teaching. Yes.
Thank you, Svetlana. Thank you. I have a low internet connection now, and I can't see your videos for whatever reason. I just hope that you can see me and hear me well. Please let me know if there are some problems in the chat, okay?
Okay.
So, thank you. I'm really glad to share my ideas again and to be a presenter again. Thank you for this opportunity. So today I'm going to talk about some activities and materials which I use with my teenagers and the way I use them and adapt them for online classes. And I prepared something to show you. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. Can you see my screen now? Yes? Okay. So I'm going to talk about 3 activities from different resources that I use, and then tell you who I used them with online and what for. And then how I'd use the activities in a real classroom. And I will also show you the original materials with the instructions from the resources that I used. Here's the link, and I will share my presentation with all the links afterwards. So now, and then I will show you and tell you how I adapted the activities for online, and then some more possible adaptations which could be done. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. This is the same link which I have here in the first slide. So number 1 is telling a story, and it is taken from Top Class Activities by Peter Watkins Jones. So I like this very much, and I used it with my teenage class Gateway B1+. So basically this is the original material and how it looks like, and also I have instructions for you here. So the activity is includes pictures with some objects and then situations which you need to find the way out using these pictures. So basically students need to choose 5 pictures first, then I would distribute the situations, and they need to choose 3 out of those 5 which they had chosen before, and tell a story explaining how they will escape this situation. For example, number 1, you are on your way to the interview and then you're stuck in a lift, and then how would you come to the interview on time? So in a real classroom, I would cut this all up and let students choose the situations, and then give them the pictures and do this activity like this. But of course I cannot do this, I cannot cut up things, and I decided to do it a bit differently. First of all, I also select some of the situations from here, not all of them. For example, this one with a dead body, I don't think it's a kind of appropriate for teenagers, but if you think it is, you can use it, of course. So I actually chose the one I liked, and I will show you how I used it in my classroom. So the first thing I did was eliciting the names of the objects, and then I have the written form for some of them, which were the most challenging. So okay, so I have one situation here. I used it for demonstration. I create a story myself, or I ask students to help me. And then after that, I will share the links with students. First, I set the interaction pattern. I put them into groups. So yeah, I think I will also open one of the links just to demonstrate. So here are the links. I have them ready here. This is the link for group number 1. So I covered the story with this shape just to demonstrate the task and give instructions. So first of all, I will ask students to choose 5 objects and type them in the chat box, because when they see the story, they should choose only 3 and they cannot change them. I think this is fun, but of course you can adapt it and you can let them choose any objects whenever they like. So this is why I covered this with this shape. So then I will share the links for different groups, and also I have the names here. It's just for myself to not to forget. I will show the links, because remember, they can't see your screen shared when they're in breakout rooms. So I asked them to go to breakout rooms and they should create one story together, because I think in this case the task is communicative. So yes, and then of course, you can adapt this. You can ask one student to create one story only, and then they can compare their stories, for example. Or you can, for example, let them choose any pictures they want. Or you can use this activity for lower levels, and they can practice present continuous, for example, to telling stories or crazy dreams or something. So this task is very imaginative and I like it very much. Yes, okay, let's move to the next one, I think. So the next one. So this one I used with my teens again, Gateway B1+, and I used it for a freer practice of third conditional sentences. It is taken from Reward Intermediate, and if you don't know, I love this resource because there are different levels of reward books, so you can use them for all levels. So this is how it looks like originally, and we have instructions here. Of course, in the real classroom, I would use it as a mingling task. I will cut it up and then distribute one card for each student, and they will write something they would have done in different types of situations. And then I will mix all the cards together in a box or in a bag, and then I will let them choose cards again and then mingle and ask questions to find out who wrote this. But we can't do mingling online, right? So this is how I adapted it for online. First of all, I usually have a quick revision of rules, and this wasn't a new topic for students, so they should be familiar with the topic. So I have an example sentence here, and everything which is written in red, I elicit from students and I write it on the spot. So basically, when they see the slide, there are gaps, and they help me to come up with the right version. And then I have also here meaning, which is hidden. I don't want them to see them in the beginning. So I have meaning, and again, while they're answering the questions, I highlight the right option. For example, is it about present or past? Is it real or imaginary situation? And so on. And then I have the form, again, elicited from students, and phonology, I just model and drill. And then again, I would, first I would open the link myself to demonstrate. So here's the link. I open it and share my screen. And I have it here. Oops, sorry. Yeah, okay, so again, I would elicit the question from students, and I want this task to be communicative. That's why I'm not asking them to finish the sentence. I ask them to work in pairs and ask questions. So what would you do if? And then they should just choose the cards they want and ask their partner. So again, I would demonstrate and then set the interaction pattern and then share the link because they cannot see my screen while they are in breakout rooms. And then I will ask them to join the rooms. So yes, and it can be adapted. For example, you can ask them to create true or false sentences about themselves. It would be personalized. It will give the listener the task, and they can guess which are true and which are false. And also, my idea was also you can cut these cards and put them in Google Drawings instead, and then cover them with rectangle shapes of different colors. And for example, when students are joining breakout rooms, you give them the link and they can drag these cards in order not to see all the cards at the same time. So this is an alternative. And also, if you do this, don't forget to change the settings because they need to have an ability to edit them, because I have view only because I just didn't want them to edit anything in my lesson. So yeah, and so yeah, I can see there are something in the chat. Should I answer now or later? Okay, sorry, I can't open the chat for now. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll answer the questions later. Okay. Okay. Good. And then what else? Yes, and one more thing here. I also excluded some of the cards from the origin because I just don't like them and I don't think they're appropriate for teenagers. For example, this one. If I had been born a member of the opposite sex. I don't know why, but they find it funny and I just don't want them to giggle. And but if you want to, you can put it here. And this is how it looks like. It actually, these two are actually different snapshots which I took. This is how I cut them out. Okay, so, and let's move to the third one. Okay, the third one. I like it a lot. This is one which I used with the same group, Gateway B1+, as a freer practice for reported speech questions and also language for speculation. This is taken from the website which is called onestopenglish.com, and actually they have free access till the end of June, so you can find a lot of activities there. So this one I haven't adapted so much actually, and probably I would use it the same way as I did in the real classroom. So basically, which I want students to do, yeah, I'll show you. I'll just show you what I did. Again, I have a quick revision of the grammar rules. Oops, can you see my screen?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, something wrong is happening with my screen, but okay.
We can see a PowerPoint presentation right now.
Sorry, Svetlana, I have technical problems. I think I can't continue at this point. Yeah, the last activity which I would like to share is this one, reported speech freer practice or semi-controlled practice maybe, which I took from One Stop English website. And I also have here original instructions. So usually I set this activity in 3 stages. The first one is students are speculating. Yeah, I'm sorry, am I sharing my screen?
Yes, you are.
Yes, oh, thank you. Okay, so first of all, students are speculating about the pictures, and I'll show you how I use that in the classroom. Yeah, let's say first I have a quick revision here, and I actually copied this from the Gateway B1+ course book, and I covered some language here with the shapes, and I just elicit these parts from students just to quickly revise how we form reported speech questions. And then I will use this link to show them my screen first. So here is how I adapted it. Oops, sorry, it's Rory's presentation. And yeah, this one. So this is what students see first. And this is what I am writing on the spot. So the first task is just speculate about these pictures and use models of deduction for this, because it was one of our grammar topics to revise. So basically, I will ask them to talk in pairs and set breakout rooms for them, invite them there, and
Irina,
they are
sorry,
talking.
we see only your presentation. We
I'm
don't see the
sorry,
screen.
yeah, again, yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how it looks when I open the file. And these two questions I usually write on the spot after they have done the first stage. So stage number one, I will ask students to speculate about the pictures and just talk in pairs, discuss who are these people, where are they, and what they are talking about, and to use the models of speculation and deduction. And then stage number two, I would ask them to write the questions. Well, actually, I didn't let them edit this file. I wanted them to write in their copybooks, but you can, if you want to. You can include some annotations here, or maybe to put this picture in Google Documents and then add a text here. But I just I thought that it wasn't really necessary at that point. So I asked them to work in pairs because I wanted this task to be communicative. And remember, they have already discussed who they think these people are, and hopefully they come up with some agreement between their pairs, in their pairs. And this time I would ask them to write direct questions for these speech bubbles. This is my example for picture 2 here. Do you understand? Well, it's not the best question which teacher should ask, but it's just my example. And well, so again, they are talking together and they come up with direct questions. Then I change pairs. So for example, A, B, B first, and then A, B, A, B. So I change pairs, and then they should transfer their direct questions into indirect ones, reported ones. They are not writing anymore, they are just speaking. And so basically one student says their indirect question, and the other student should guess which picture he's talking about. So in this case, the listener has a task. Sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's not, because students come up with lots and lots of ideas. And also, I think of some adaptations which this activity could be used for. For example, you can ask students to write anything in these speech bubbles. For example, their future plans, or you can focus on the difference between to be going to or will. And something like that, some grammar topics. Yeah. So basically, which I usually do, I take the original material, I open them in PDF, and then I snapshot and just copy and paste it into Google Documents or Google Drawings. This is how I adapt supplementary materials for online. I think this is everything which I wanted to share with you, and I will share this presentation with all the links. You can use my links, my documents, and the first one with original materials. So I'm ready to answer your questions now.
There aren't questions, but I have a question. Thank you very much, Irina. I miss reward a lot. Now this is what
Yeah.
I've realized. I'd like to have a copy and start using it perhaps in my classes as like, I don't know, revision or some semi-controlled practice.
Yeah, and have you copied the questions from my previous effort when I tried to?
There were no questions, only that there was a comment about materials adaptation, that it can be used with even younger learners. I assume it was about, I don't know, juniors maybe, or maybe with strong super minds. Yes, like those cards from reward and things could be used with other levels as well.
Sure, I think there is a room for adaptation anyway, for a level or an age group. So thank you for watching.
Okay, thank you very much. And do you have this reward in PDF?
Yes, I have actually, I have all the levels. Would you like me to send it in the chat now?
In the chat, maybe like sharing in Gmail, and then we can somehow available. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Irina, for this.
Yes, thank you, Svetlana.
And you're these bubble speeches, like I love it. I'm going to use
it. Yes, I will share everything, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much, everyone. And now...
Ну что ж, замечательно. Спасибо большое. Рада приветствовать коллег на сегодняшней встрече. И, к сожалению, у меня нет демонстрации, материалов для демонстрации, но я хотела бы сегодня с коллегами поговорить о тех вопросах, которые связаны с профессиональным выгоранием в условиях самоизоляции, в период самоизоляции. Надеюсь, что удобным способом общения будет сегодня мое выступление на русском языке, и вы сможете меня достаточно хорошо понять. Ну что ж, в настоящих условиях, в которые мы пребываем, любой человек может уставать от тех изменившихся обстоятельств, от непривычных условий труда и от вынужденных мер, и испытывает такое ощущение пустоты или апатии, но наибольшая нагрузка, несомненно, сейчас ложится на педагогов и ложится на врачей. Когда мы говорим о профессиональном выгорании, вот этот сам синдром профессионального выгорания в условиях самоизоляции проявляется быстрее, проявляется раньше, чем в обычной педагогической практике учителя. И сам термин синдром профессионального выгорания мы с вами знаем достаточно давно, но впервые этот термин использовал американский психиатр Герберт Фейнберг, и доктор, психиатр таким образом обозначил душевное состояние людей, которые испытывают разочарование, которые испытывают опустошенность. И все это сопровождается неким таким нарастающим безразличием к собственной работе. И выгорание – это прежде всего реакция организма человека на непрерывный стресс, на то, что происходит в его работе. Когда я для себя готовила сегодняшнее выступление, то подумала, как это проще объяснить. Состояние профессионального выгорания – это 3 отрицательных действия. Я не хочу, я не буду, и я не могу. Если это говорить общепринятыми категориями, эти 3 «не» американские ученые Маслок и Джексон назвали главными составляющими выгорания. Для них они использовали определенные термины: эмоциональное истощение, деперсонализация и редукция профессиональных достижений. Ну, так коротко, чтобы соотнести мое представление с терминами американских ученых. Эмоциональное истощение – это равнодушие ко всему рабочему процессу. То есть я не хочу больше работать. Деперсонализация – это частичное или полное отстранение от общения с коллегами и другими людьми в рабочем коллективе. сложившихся условиях в самоизоляции как раз полностью исключен режим реального общения. Я не могу с вами общаться. Это та самая защитная реакция на эмоциональную перегруженность, которая сопровождается не только внутренним, но и таким внешним раздражением. И третья составляющая, по мнению американских ученых, редукция профессиональных достижений. Возникает она в условиях завышенных требований к себе и характеризуется таким чувством собственной некомпетентности. То есть я не могу выполнить работу. Можно выделить 3 группы симптомов появления профессионального выгорания. Во-первых, это психофизические симптомы. Чувство такой постоянной усталости, которое возникает не только по вечерам после работы, но и по утрам. Медики говорят об этом, называя ситуацию синдромом хронической усталости. Это один из психофизических симптомов выгорания профессионального. Ощущение эмоционального и физического истощения, а также снижение восприимчивости и реактивности к различным изменениям внешней среды. То есть у вас отсутствует реакция любопытства на фактор новизны, а в обычных условиях нам это интересно, или реакция страха на постоянную опасную ситуацию. В общем-то, с точки зрения психофизики, мы можем с вами обозначить и другие симптомы, которые связаны с реакциями организма. Помимо психофизических симптомов, второе направление – это социально-психологические симптомы. Как это может проявляться? Безразличие к тому, что происходит, скука, состояние депрессии, некая такая повышенная раздражительность на мелкие события. В обычной жизни они незначительны, но социально-психологический симптом их обостряет. Также чувство гиперответственности, которое может быть противоположным, и постоянное чувство страха. Я не смогу, я не справлюсь, у меня сейчас не получится. Вот это то, что связано с социально-психологическим восприятием. И, в общем-то, такая некая общая негативная установка на жизненные и наши дальнейшие профессиональные перспективы. То есть, как бы я сейчас ни старался, перспектива моя, что у меня все равно ничего не получится. Это социально-психологические симптомы. Есть и в ряде симптомов еще и поведенческая симптоматика, что у нас некое такое ощущение присутствует, что наша работа становится с каждым днем все тяжелее и тяжелее, а выполнять ее нам сложнее и сложнее. И мы, в общем-то, не верим в том, что произойдут какие-то улучшения. Это снижает общее отношение к работе. То есть энтузиазма и других позитивных чувств не возникает. Либо происходит безразличие к результату. Работаю как могу, так и получается. Все это может, с другой стороны, повышать некую неадекватную критичность к собственным действиям. Либо мне все равно, как я это делаю, либо я понимаю, что все время получается плохо. И поведенческий симптом профессионального выгорания – это еще и усиление вредных привычек. Когда за счет алкоголя, сигарет пытаются изменить свое поведение, но это кратковременное ослабление нарастающих симптомов. Симптомы я эти перечислила для того, чтобы вы понимали, что это за состояние, близкое к профессиональному выгоранию. Но если вы сейчас замечаете у себя ряд этих симптомов, это совсем не повод, чтобы сразу себе какой-то диагноз психологически поставить. Нет, это основание задуматься, как я сейчас могу повлиять на то, что со мной происходит. То есть это некая профилактика дальнейшего нашего развития. Подумать, что бы мы хотели вспомнить, когда ситуация, связанная с самоизоляцией, закончится, когда вернется нормальная профессиональная жизнь. Что мне хочется вспомнить? Чтобы было что-то кроме пустоты или все-таки профессиональное накопление? чем я смогу после этой ситуации поделиться со своими друзьями, со своими коллегами. Вот именно сейчас мы решаем, что и как мы будем делать, что мы будем чувствовать и как мы будем думать впоследствии, вспоминая эту ситуацию. И не менее важно в данной ситуации, как наше поведение оценивают наши дети и наши ученики. То есть видят ли они, что как бы ни складывались обстоятельства, я могу справиться с этой ситуацией, и что у нас, у учителей, получается с этим справляться. Несомненно, сложившаяся ситуация для нас приносит дискомфорт. И в первую очередь нам нужно принять эту ситуацию, да, с психологической точки зрения, переосмыслить ее такой, какая она есть, а потом принять меры. Наши меры, как у педагогов, это возможность качественно работать в дистанционном формате. Если мы совсем будем избегать новостей, и вот это избегание негатива, оно приведет только к тому, что усилится отрицательная эмоция. Но если мы будем постоянно читать только новости о том, как повышается заболеваемость в стране и в мире, это вызовет нашу лишнюю тревогу. Нам не нужен в этой ситуации лишний страх. И наша возможность преодолеть этот страх, в том числе и перед нашим будущим, как мы вернемся к обычной жизни, к обычной профессии, это преподавание. Это возможность переключиться на полезную деятельность. Это очень значимо, потому что наши ученики и их родители ждут конкретных результатов. Значит, мы можем некие меры профилактики профессионального выгорания использовать в данной ситуации. Что мы можем предпринять? В общем-то, в целом, с точки зрения профессионального выгорания и для того, чтобы сохранить свои человеческие и профессиональные качества. Тут, опираясь на психологические рекомендации, на опыт профессиональной деятельности, важно выделить 3 основные составляющие. Во-первых, соблюдать режим и границы деятельности. И режим, прежде всего, надо начать с организации режима сна и бодрствования. Что это значит? Несмотря на день недели, вставать и ложиться нужно в одно и то же время. То есть это некие биологические часы, которые позволят нам существовать в реальности и быть здоровым. Прежде всего важно придерживаться еще и привычного графика. Когда мы находимся на самоизоляции, наше время все равно. Есть часть рабочего времени, а есть нерабочее, личное пространство, когда мы отдыхаем, не работая круглосуточно. И пространство, в котором мы работаем, тоже нужно разделить на рабочее и домашнее. Рабочее пространство, пусть оно может быть небольшим, в зависимости от того, какое место для занятий с учениками у вас есть в вашем доме, в вашей квартире, но оно должно быть отдельным. Там необходимо разместить технику, те учебные материалы, которые мы можем использовать, и все остальное пространство домашнее. Тогда мы почувствуем вот эту разницу организации режима границ деятельности. Очень важно и соблюдать режим питания. Если мы посмотрим, что нам рекомендуют психологи и диетологи, они говорят о необходимости полноценного, сбалансированного питания в течение дня. Дозированность – это где-то 5 раз в день. Этого вполне достаточно, чтобы распределить тот баланс питательных веществ, которые мы получаем в течение дня. Ну и, конечно же, физическая активность. Она крайне важна в сложившейся ситуации. Главное, чтобы тренировки, которые вы осуществляете, были систематичными. Это может быть ежедневная регулярная гимнастика. Это может быть несколько упражнений между уроками, которые вы проводите. Да? Встали, изменили нагрузку, и это очень важно для вашего организма. И даже уборка, которую вы проводили в квартире сегодня или вчера, Это тоже тренировка, это тоже система вашей физической нагрузки. Это первый аспект, касающийся режима и организации деятельности. Второй очень важный момент – возможность сохранять новые приемы обучения, которые вы использовали, накопить их для дальнейшего применения. Это ваши наработки, это ваша методическая организация. Это то самообразование, которое вы сейчас получаете, это ваши авторские разработки и повышение квалификации одновременно. И третье, очень важно позаботиться о себе. Во-первых, о своем психическом здоровье. Не обостряем конфликты с близкими людьми, а они не могут не возникать, потому что 24 часа вы постоянно пребываете в замкнутом пространстве со своей семьей. И здесь релаксация как помощник для избегания конфликтов. Это и техники дыхания, да, когда хочется испытывать какие-то негативные эмоции, вдохнули, просчитали до 10 и далее уже подумали, стоит ли выходить на конфликт с близкими. А еще это предварительная договоренность с близкими о тех паузах, когда каждый имеет право на уединение. Хотя бы полчаса побыть одному в условиях семейного существования. Еще забота о себе, она не только включает психическое здоровье, но и свой эстетический и физический потенциал. Поэтому забота о своем внешнем виде – это тоже эмоциональная и профессиональная профилактика выгорания. А та обратная связь, которую мы получаем от наших учеников, от их родителей, их успехи позволяют нам принять сложившуюся ситуацию и развивать свой профессионализм. Очень важно не только обучать, но и получать удовольствие, особенно сейчас, от того взаимного общения, которое вы организуете с ребенком. Как известно, мудрость – это способность отличить то, что мы можем изменить, от того, что изменить не можем. Будьте мудрыми и будьте здоровыми. Пытаюсь увидеть чат, чтобы ответить на ваши вопросы, потому что одновременно было несколько сложно. Так, спасибо за обратную реакцию. Есть вопросы, да? Сейчас посмотрю.
Я не... Валентина, спасибо большое за выступление, это очень интересно. Вопросов я не вижу в чате. Всем понравилось, все говорят, что все это очень важно, да, действительно. Спасибо огромное.
Благодарю, мы обсуждали возможность вот того, что происходит, как-то интерпретировать с точки зрения психологической поддержки нашей целостности.
Да. Валентина Викторовна, я тогда спрошу так, а есть вот, допустим, если уж совсем не вмоготу, есть ли какие-то горячие линии, куда человек может позвонить и получить психологическую поддержку в Москве?
Да. В Москве существует горячая линия психологов, и, кстати, я там работаю. Это поддержка специалистами, имеющими психологическое образование населения. Это горячая линия «Стоп коронавирус РФ», и там есть телефон единой поддержки населения. Нам на эту горячую линию звонят с разными проблемами. Сначала включается оператор, но на подхвате все время есть дежурящий психолог. Распределено с учетом времени и разных часовых поясов таким образом, что дежурит 24 часа, потому что действительно нужна помощь на горячей линии, и это вот единая горячая линия 8 800 2112. Номер, на который мы можем позвонить и в любое время, 24 часа в сутки, получить поддержку. Это Российская Федерация, да, Московская служба психологов поддерживает тех граждан, которым нужна помощь сейчас. И это касается и преподавателей, да, абсолютно верно, стоп-коронавирус, да, абсолютно верно.
Да, еще
да.
такой вопрос. Если человеку уже нужна не только психологическая поддержка, а еще и медикаментозная, например, какие-нибудь антидепрессанты или что-нибудь, что помогает справляться с тревожностью, куда вот сейчас в условиях карантина можно обращаться?
Если нужна медикаментозная поддержка, то все-таки это второй шаг. Сначала лучше позвонить на горячую линию, где окажут бесплатную консультацию. Работают специалисты, в общем-то, есть перенаправленность, такая цепочка, когда можно обратиться и к специалистам психиатрического профиля, но принимать антидепрессанты вот просто по совету подруги или по совету людей, которые находятся в близком состоянии к вашему, не стоит. То есть лучше сначала проговорить эту ситуацию и вообще лучше вербализировать свою проблему, и тогда уже понять, если действительно нужно использование антидепрессантов, то с чего начать? Может быть, с успокаивающего чая, может быть, там, с чашки любимого там, травяного напитка, или все-таки можно использовать какие-то препараты типа комплекса аминокислот. Та же самая горячая линия предполагает, что когда человеку нужна помощь, его переключат от психолога уже к врачу, да, и тогда уже врач спокойно поймет, а нужна ли ситуация поддержки. Существуют, в принципе, и выезды на дом, да, когда нужно поддержать человека, и особенно женщины старше 60 лет не справляются с ситуацией, это касается далеко не педагогов, а вообще общей популяции, общей гендерной такой помощи. Мужчины как-то оказываются крепче, но вот по результатам работы на горячей линии в основном проблемы, которые требуют дальнейшей антидепрессантивной сопровождения, это вот женщины старше 60 лет. Но это некая статистика, каждая ситуация, она индивидуальна. И, в общем-то, если вы чувствуете, что необходима помощь, лучше обратиться к специалистам. Поддержка будет. Это абсолютно точно, потому что очень многие осуществляют вот такую волонтерскую социальную деятельность. И находятся там профессионалы, и кандидаты наук, и доктора наук. И вот когда я говорила о себе, я говорила о том, что я преподаю в нескольких вузах, и Московский институт психоанализа, он ведет такую активную поддержку с точки зрения именно психологической помощи.
И еще, наверное, такой важный вопрос, с учетом того, что все вот эти расстройства немножко стигматизированы в нашем обществе. Это горячая линия анонимна или потом эти данные куда-то будут переданы?
Горячая линия абсолютно анонимна, и только когда звонок идет от человека, который кричит «помогите, СОС», да, тогда специалист, оператор задает вопрос: как мы можем с вами связаться, скажите, пожалуйста, дайте, пожалуйста, контактный телефон и адрес, к вам готовы выехать специалисты медицинского профиля. Когда мы консультируем, у нас забанен номер телефона. То есть даже звонок, который поступает сначала на оператора, он не имеет возможности определения. Неважно, откуда идет звонок, с городского телефона или с мобильного. Но если мы слышим крик о помощи СОС, да, то спрашиваются контактные данные, чтобы не было какой-то опаски, общая горячая линия не имеет обратного определения.
Спасибо большое.
Пожалуйста, если есть еще вопросы, рада буду ответить.
Больше нет вопросов. Спасибо большое, это очень интересно и важно сейчас, в наше время, потому что все то, что вы перечислили, я уже начала думать про себя, и, кажется, у меня есть признаки. Надо с этим бороться.
Да, но, как я сказала, на самом деле это просто возможность пересмотреть сложившуюся ситуацию, да, и по-другому организовать пространство. Это ситуация самоизоляции нас подвигает к тому, чтобы все эти пункты у себя найти. Но это еще не синдром профессионального выгорания. Я думаю, что как раз у людей, которые заинтересованы, встретились сегодня здесь, такие проблемы возникнут не скоро, а может и не возникнут вообще. Удачи!
Все, спасибо большое.
Спасибо большое.
Благодарю за предоставленную возможность.
Okay, thank you.
До свидания.
Now it's the time for big questions and big answers. Do you have any
Yes, if
questions?
you could tackle my question with the breakout rooms, because it was a recurring issue.
I started typing in there. For
You
example,
can just say it here.
my WhatsApp is on all the time on my laptop. I find it easier like to type in WhatsApp rather than use my phone. And during the Rory's presentation, I managed to go into the breakout room. So basically, this is the answer to your question, I think.
So basically, she can keep her WhatsApp like activated rather than turning it off or something like that.
Maybe.
Because she kept asking me, Lydia, what's my problem? What can I do? Because I kept sending her invitations and she couldn't enter her breakout room.
Did she accept that invitation? Because basically, like it's on your screen, you have to click on it and then enter.
She said yes.
Vita.
Yes, basically, I had some students who couldn't access breakout room. So what I do, I just let them stay in the main room. And I add
But she's
kids.
alone.
But
She's the only one who can't do it.
I mean, I have two kids. Like, for example, one has a problem and one hasn't got a problem. Like, doesn't have any problems with it. Well, why can't they work together in the main room?
I see what you mean. You mean you don't appoint, for example, two students,
Yes.
and there are three of them in the
In the main room, yes.
part of the lesson. Thank you, Vita. Yes, sounds like a good solution. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, Sveta, there was a question about Google Classroom. So maybe I can just show very quickly what it looks like for 1 minute, and then we can move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to show my what my Google Classroom looks like. These are all my Google classes here. And what you need to do is you need to register or sign up for it using your Google account here. And then you can add new, like create a class, you tick it, you continue, class name, section, create, and you will have a class basically ready. And then when you open the class, let's say, open my IELTS class, you will see here stream, and everything that you post will be here. Then classwork, and it allows you to add lots of materials, whether assignment, quiz assignment, question material, like whatever, and topics. And here you can see all the topics, like for Anton, I have vocabulary, homework, reading, like everything that you need. And here I just share the files with him, and everything is organized because you can see that the description here and all the PDF files that I want him to have access to are also here. And this is where he goes to study. This is our shared space. Then, for instance, I also use my Google Classroom to organize pair work. So my gateway. And for instance, here I've got from April 6th, I've got reading, I've got speaking page, speaking discussion. And they click on the Google Doc, they open it, and they have question tag. This is for team 1. You go down, this is for team 2, then they swap. Or for instance, speaking pictures, I got task A, task B, and basically my students created the task themselves. So when they opened it before, it was just a blank document. And here I had the task for them. Choose 3 pictures which show difficult jobs. Put them into this file for your peers to discuss. And they created the task themselves, and then they swapped by simply accessing their Google Classroom and clicking on another link. And I sent them into breakout rooms and they discussed it. And yeah, well, I also use it with my little kids with playways and you can see here playways, superminds, because parents can access Google Class and print out all the materials that they need. It's there, and I asked my parents whether they liked working with it, and they said it was okay. It wasn't something they're used to, but it was okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vita. Yes, it's useful. I also use Google Classroom, but not as successfully as you do with my teenagers. Some of them, they don't know. They say that they can't use it, so I use WhatsApp and Google Classroom and whatever, sending them tasks needed for homework before the class or something else. Good. Thank you very much, everyone. Any other questions? Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying with us for such a long time. And we're planning to have round 4 in a couple of weeks. And the topics will be, not the topics, at least like the general idea of the workshop for the next time is going to be announced on the Facebook and WhatsApp, by emails, and we're looking forward to seeing you again. Maybe with like if you want to present ideas, you're more than welcome. If you just want to be a listener, like as usual, the same time, the same place, the same people. Thank you very much for being with us. Have a good evening and a productive Monday.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Thank you.
Yes, I
Goodbye.
appreciate that. Goodbye. Have a good
Goodbye.
evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.